Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information in Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9, right here on Knon 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Got a lot of things to talk about, a lot going on, a lot is going on. But one thing, main thing, right now, should be on our minds is voting. You need to get to the polls. The polls are open today. They're open tomorrow. They're open up until Friday. The polls are open. They are open. This election is very important. We've got a person running for governor. He's on the same level as George Wallace, Bill Bohr, H. Ross Barnett, all of those notorious Southern governors. We have one with the same mentality, a person running for governor with that same mentality right here in Texas. You need to get to the polls. This person that's running for governor is against anything that's going to better our lot here in America, on planet Earth. And this person needs to be put down. He needs to be voted down. You need to get to the polls. This election is very, very important. Also, we have a district attorney election. Oh, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. See how Craig Watkins and Susan Hawk will how this thing will come out. If you have an idea, give me a call. Give me a call. Give me a call. Susan Hawk, Craig Watkins, for district attorney. This is going to be an interesting race. How will they vote? How will people vote? Will white Democratic women, along with Republican women and white males, vote for Susan Hawk? Or will Craig, this is supposed to be a blue county, will Craig, being the Democrat, will he take this election? This is going to be a very interesting race. It's going to be an interesting race. We see these races that's closest to us affect us most. Presidential elections, they're very big and they're well known, but they need to put more emphasis. If you notice, there hasn't been a whole lot of emphasis placed on the election. That's by design. They don't want you to come to the polls. They want you to stay home. That's the worst thing you could ever do. Also, when I look at Thomas Duncan and the nurses that treated him, Nina Pham and Amber Vincent, now you have a Dr. Craig Spencer up in New York that's has the Ebola virus. I'm looking at Miss Pham, how she was treated and how she's been treated ever since they found out that she had Ebola. And I'm looking at Miss Amber Vincent, how she's been treated ever since they found out she has Ebola. They were treated totally different. It was a totally different thing. Miss Pham was invited to the White House. I wonder, will President Obama invite Miss Vincent to the White House? She's Ebola free. The whole treatment by the media, local and some national, was totally different how they treated the Asian lady, Miss Pham, and the black lady, Miss Vincent. It's been atrocious. They demonized Miss Vincent. Said she shouldn't have flown. She got word from the CDC it was okay. But now they talked about her. Now are they going to talk about this doctor, Craig Vincent? He even got on the rail system there in New York. And anybody ever been to New York, you know how crowded those rail lines are. How are they going to treat him? It doesn't seem like they're demonizing him, and he's had possibility to contaminate more people than even Miss Vincent ever dreamed of there in New York. I wonder about this whole thing. I'm wondering. Do we have to make race everything? Oh, no, you didn't want. No, I'm not doing it. I'm observing. I'm a close observer of what's going on. Miss Vincent has not been treated the same as Miss Pham. And, you know, Mr. Duncan is the only somebody in a person in America that have died from this stuff. So I wonder about that whole thing. I think because he was black and uninsured. That's why he is dead. Yes, I believe that. All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to an independent voter. All righty. Good morning. You're on Knon.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
Fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing the best that I can do. I want to have a good dialogue with you this morning. I just got one question, then I got a comment. Is abortion, murder, killing babies in the belly, is that legal or illegal? Yes or no?
Well, according to the United States Constitution, the Supreme Court ruling, they say it's legal.
It's legal to kill a baby in the womb that had nothing to do with a man and woman.
Well, according to Roe versus Wade, they say it's legal. Hello?
Okay. So
are you there?
Yes or no? I'm still here.
Is that what?
I say I'm still here. I
answered your question. I said,
no, you didn't. I say, do you think it's right for a woman to kill a child in her womb? Do you think that's murder? She don't need to go to death row or nothing.
No.
So you answer my question. Now, on these other issues here, I don't vote for people that kill babies, and I don't vote for punks. Anybody that vote for punks, I'm against them. And that's why they don't want Obama to even come around his neighborhood, because he's advocating for punks and gays and dykes.
Now, could you put it in a better term? Because it's a time that you don't have to be derogatory. People understand.
That's not derogatory. That's just telling the truth.
Those
he went in
those
office. I voted for him the first time, my man.
I understand all. I understand all of that. That's fine. But at the same time, look, hold it. I'll let you talk for a second. Hold it.
Okay.
Now, we don't want to use derogatory terms to put people down. All right, you can use the term homosexual. Even the term faggot is not a derogatory term, because that was the degree they worked to during times of the Greeks. But to call them all kind of nasty names and different things like that.
Well, that's the fact of life.
No.
Otherwise they gonna keep coming.
There's a word for defecating. It's a nasty word, but we don't want to use that on air. So let's come on with it, but use better terminology. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay.
Okay. Can we get change, real change we can believe in?
Can we do what?
He said when he ran the first time, I voted for him. He said change, real change you can believe in. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was gonna get in there and start doing all this stuff against the human race. God said man's supposed to be the maintaining provider of women. Now he got women trying to run the world. I mean, that's not what God wants. And you supposed to be a preacher, and you thinking, and you voting for this fool.
You voted for him.
The first time
you voted for him. You voted for him.
Second, I ain't vote for nobody the second time.
Well,
and I ain't voting for no baby killer.
He won, so that was a vote for him.
I ain't voting for no baby killer. I voted for Greg Abbott.
You voted? Well, that's
for the first time in my life. I voted for a damn Republican. And I don't like damn one of them. Democrats are Republicans.
Well, I mean, this is your prerogative. Nobody's going to blame you for that. Hello? Did he hang up? Why did he hang up? He said he wanted to dialogue with me. We'll talk about it. All right, at 972-647-1893. Bring me on line. Who's that on line 3? Tom? All right, bring me Tom on. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Fine. You doing all right?
Doing quite well, thank you. Well, let me just start with saying, whenever you know this, but don't waste time talking with someone who's not going to communicate with you. You know, Don't waste time on that. So
he said he wanted dialogue. I want to talk with him. He's a very he has his point of view, and I'm not going. I know I'm not going to change his mind, but at the same time, I give him an opportunity. I don't agree with hardly anything he said, but I let him say it over there.
Well, let me get to the point real quick. Now, it's regarding Amber and Miss Vincent. I think it's pretty much about image. You know, what are you giving? What did you show them? And I think it looks like Miss Vincent may have shown a little irresponsibility, and she was aware of her, what was going on in the situation. But bottom line, I think that is what has isolated her from, Miss Pham. Her last position was helping someone. But I think it's very important that we be mindful of the image that we show. And right from the start, just the whole thing, I think I could have done it much better. The definition of isolation and quarantine means just that, isolation. You should not be out and about doing things. You're isolated.
Now, remember, there were, about 100 and some people that they had put the same tag on. And she had checked with the CDC. The CDC said it was okay for her to travel. Now, here's a young woman, 29, they say, that's getting ready to get married. Now, think about it. There are very few things in life, if anything, more important to a young woman than getting married, correct?
Well, I definitely understand.
That's a strong motivational mood to be in. She did not get the high temperature until she was coming back. She had a higher temperature. She's 99. It's not that high. I guarantee your temperature is not 98.6 or 98.7, whatever they say it is.
Okay.
It rarely is your temperature exactly what they say perfect temperature is. So she checked with them. I do not believe this young lady, had she knew she had the Ebola virus, would have done that. I just don't believe it. But now, remember, she was a caregiver just like Miss Pham.
Right.
She got the disease just like Miss Pham. Right? Now, I'm glad Miss Pham as well. But the president invited her to the White House. They've been playing her up the whole time. They had a big homecoming for her yesterday. But at the same time, it seemed like every time they would talk about Miss Vincent, it was something negative.
Right.
And I know you sharp enough to pick up on that.
Well, yeah, I understood that, but my impression of it, I guess I had some negative vibes about it as well, but it was mainly because my perception, the world was not looking at her emotion regarding getting married. All they saw was this woman on isolation, even though she got permission. Under that circumstances, I guess I just go with the definition of the words. I had a fit when I saw Clay Jenkins up and down around folks. Isolation is isolation. Quarantine is quarantine. And, to me, it's simple. When people want to come here to the States right now, for the time being, they have 30 days from the time they buy their ticket to get to the United States. That should be that's my recommendation. That's logical.
Well, they still can sneak in because I don't think there's a direct flight from Sierra Leone or Guinea or Liberia directly to America. I think they have to fly into Europe in order to get to America, and then you can do a whole lot of things. The problem is America if there's a vaccine, I'm hearing there is a vaccine, but this guy is holding out on money. It's a money deal, and they have about $1 million deals that they can vaccinate people with and help cure this virus. They need to get over that and stop it. But have you noticed you never hear anything about where did this jive come from? Where did this come from? Now, one of the top scientists in America said it was created in a lab right here in America and sent to West Africa. Do you believe that? Oh, I guess did I lose it? Is he there?
Hello.
Go right ahead. Go.
Okay, yeah, I apologize for what happened there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, as far as the isolation, right now, I believe that's what it should be. I just heard the comment about the being created in the lab. I think everyone's been accusing the United States of doing that for years.
Well, they have the United States have been known to do that.
Well, I'd like to know some examples.
Tuskegee. They gave syphilis to all those black people and didn't tell them till 40, 50 years later?
That is true. Okay.
Huh?
That is
The United States is known to do stuff like that.
That's true. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I have to back down from that. But I just have a hard time. When they say AIDS was created by Americans and United States and everything, I guess I just hope that that's not the case.
Wow.
The question is, who's doing that? Wow. How can the government authorize that?
Hey, who runs the government? Big business.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
People blame President Obama for a whole lot of things he can't do nothing about.
True.
Because he had to cater to Wall Street to be president. All right?
Okay.
They're the ones who, them and certain groups, gave him over $700 million. Now, let's be honest about it. America, in reality, is a fascist nation. It's run by big business. They call the shots. All right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. All right, now, who you like to see governor?
Wow. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Can I split them in the middle?
No. You can't split those two.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with, wow.
With who?
I'm undecided. I'm just so undecided.
You're undecided?
I'm undecided.
Would you vote for George Wallace or Lester Maddox?
No.
Well, that's what you'd be doing if you vote for a certain person.
Which one?
Oh, God, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
No, it doesn't take. We'll tell you later. All right, thank you for your call. Those of you hanging on the line, just be patient. I'm coming to you. I don't like to run my callers off. You think enough to call this show, and we think enough to give you enough time to express yourself. Which one is next? Line was that 4? Let's go with Billy on 4. All right. We are up against a break. Yeah, let's go and take a break. Yeah, it's break time. Billy, we'll be back with you, and Charles and Eddie and all the rest that's on the line. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We have Joe producing this morning, and you can reach us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Billy on line 4. All righty. Good morning, Billy.
How you doing, sir?
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Listen, I want to share a few things with you just quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is there was a foundation, kidney foundation. This black man needed a kidney, and so they were trying to do some things to help raise money so he could get a kidney. And they contacted the Dallas Cowboys asking if they could donate something that they could use in a raffle, some things that they could use in a raffle to help out with the kidney foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they sent?
What?
An outdated program from 2013.
So what?
That's what they said, an outdated program from 2013.
An outdated program?
Yes, sir.
Is this true?
Yes,
Joe,
sir.
you heard this?
Yes, sir. Listen.
My producer say he heard this. I ain't never heard. When was this, man?
We sent it came last week to them. They sent a request asking if they could Jason Witten, Jason Garrett, Tony Romo, and Des Brown, if they could donate some items that they could use in a raffle.
They could have sent a jersey and gotten money. They could have sent a helmet.
Listen, all they sent was an outdated program of Claiborne from 2013.
You got to be kidding.
And then you were talking about this man-made disease, Ebola, syphilis, AIDS, was all created by man, and it was all done in this United States.
Because you have to ask yourself, where was it before it showed up in the 20th century? Where was it?
Let me share some mess with you.
Mm-hmm.
Look how all these diseases don't ever happen in no country but the black part of the country.
The black part of the world, in Africa. They said they come over with some story about a green monkey. When African had sex with a green monkey and got AIDS and all of this, this Ebola is supposed to come from a fruit bat, and people eat fruit bats over most of the world. They're a delicacy to a lot of people, fruit bats. So but all of a sudden, one has Ebola.
Listen, there was a prediction given on the sports commentator, which came off the letter that was sent to the Cowboys, said they would go 12-4 and go to the Super Bowl. And Newish Scrub on Channel 5 made that prediction Wednesday night. He said it, and they had that letter 2 weeks ago. But all they sent was an old outdated program.
Y'all got to be kidding me. Well, it don't. It's Dallas. It don't surprise me. It don't. it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. This is ridiculous. They could have sent something. They didn't even have to send a helmet or a jersey of a present-day quarterback. You could have sent one from Dorsett, Troy Aikman. You could have sent one from Starbuck. People would have loved stuff like that. I mean, it wouldn't cost them anything. And they sent an old, outdated program.
Outdated program.
They should have took
2013.
They should have took it and did they take it and burn it up?
No, they didn't.
That's what I would have done.
They cried a lot. They cried a lot.
I would have burned it up and let them take a film of me burning that and send it right back to them. All right, thank you for your call. All right.
All right, sir. Bye now.
972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go Charles on line 1. All right. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm okay.
Did we lose him?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Go right ahead, Charles. You're on there.
Getting back to the conversation that you were speaking on, I guess about Miss Benson flying and about the race situation. Yeah, there is definitely that's the biggest problem we have in the U.S. is race. There's always has been that way all of my life, and I'm 53 years old, and race is definitely one of the biggest issue, if not the biggest issue.
Man, race has something to do with everything. And
everything.
I don't care how people bury their heads in the sands and pretend it don't exist. It's here and it's ever present. And you got a group of white Americans, not all white Americans. I didn't say all white Americans.
I'm agreeing with you 100% so far.
But there is a group. There is a group that just won't die. They're gonna push it, keep on pushing it, and keep on pushing. So let's just face reality. Yeah.
I want to go to the biblical aspect of the whole thing. I'm a God-fearing believer, and actually today is my Sabbath, and since I'm making it a biblical conversation, so I'm okay. I shouldn't even be on the phone because it's the Sabbath. But however, definitely, you got to look at President Obama. It's a good thing, he's of African descent and he's the president, but the president only has so much power. You got to have an agreeing Congress and a House in order to make it work.
Now, if you're going to be a congressperson or a senator, how do you get elected? You got to go to big business and rich people to raise enough money, to raise enough funds, unless you're individually wealthy, in order to get elected. Well,
correct.
And why are they going to give you money? Because you're going to have to agree to vote.
That's right.
The way they want you to vote.
That's right.
I mean, the president of big corporations, they don't have to be sitting there on either side of those aisles. But they're there. I can guarantee you their presence is there because the people that's sitting there, they contributed to their campaigns and got them elected so they would vote the way they want them to vote. This is just how politics is ran in America.
Well, we are supposed to have a godly government, and none of these people are godly.
Have we ever had a godly government?
No.
You've never had a godly government in America. How in the world are you going to have a godly government in the Constitution? You were only considered 3/5 human. Come on. You've never had a godly government in America.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah.
Now, getting, and all those votes as far as what this young man was speaking on about, people, Obama, he's blaming stuff on Obama. It's not that. It was a political thing. And they just, it was all about votes at that time. That's what that was about. Mm-hmm. But now getting to Miss Vincent and all these people that, if you got, I'm a veteran also. I mean, from the beginning, they should have gone to this Mach 4. That's my mentality. Because you're dealing with a deadly disease. Mm-hmm. Okay, now, they didn't go to that. They didn't treat this thing like they should have treated it from the beginning. Now, Miss Vincent and all these people that's just traveling leisurely while they've, been contaminated or been around, been exposed to anyone. That was just ignorant.
Yeah, but at the same time, there was no embargo, or there was nothing against them to say they couldn't travel.
I don't care. If I have been around somebody, if I'm a healthcare worker or if I'm not a healthcare worker, and I've been helping someone with a deadly virus such as this, and I've been told from the beginning, I already see what this virus is doing. I'm not going anywhere. I'm watching myself.
How many people in America? How many people in America? What is it? 300 million now?
I guess.
Around 300 million? Somewhere in that vicinity? How many people you have heard in America that has Ebola?
Well, there's starting to be several now.
It's 4 and possibly 5 out of 300 million, and the media got us going crazy because they don't want you to think about the elections that are coming up that are very important. You're going to have over 40,000 people this year that's going to die from this flu season. Yep. 40,000.
That's right.
And we scared of 4. Now, I hate to see anyone die of any. I mean, it happened, but one died.
I'm not scared of it.
Happened, but one. Yeah, but no. But see, they know how to snooker us and send us in chasing after, wolves. They're selling us wolf tickets, man.
Well,
let's think about this election coming up. But I just got to point out the fact that this young lady was ill-treated. Remember, she was a health care giver. They are dealing with the person with a deadly disease.
Right.
Any other ethnicity, she would be a hero. Still. They would have framed the whole thing differently. She was going to see her fiance, and they were putting their wedding together, and she had checked with the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and they gave her the okay to travel.
Okay, brother, but look. I understand that, and I somewhat agree with you, but, however, she should have had enough common sense to not be traveling, period.
Look, you see, you have 20/20 hindsight.
I'm not saying I would not have traveled.
No, what I'm saying, everybody, once we understand this virus now, you can understand maybe she shouldn't have done it, but at the time, was there enough understanding of the virus?
I've understood it from the beginning, and I don't put a race on it. If you have been exposed to it and you're not going through that quarantine, we're traveling, period.
Are they going to treat Dr. Craig Spencer the same way they treated this young lady?
Well, he's just as ignorant.
Huh?
He's just as ignorant, more ignorant than she was.
He got on the subway system in New York. He's gone several places, but I don't hear them demonizing him.
Well, they may not.
Now, wait a minute. Make up your mind. What are you going to say? You say you don't see no race on it. He's a white man. Yes. No, they're not going to treat him the way they treated us.
I told you from the beginning that race is the biggest issue and problem that we have definitely here.
It's an issue in this particular situation also.
Well, not going to disagree with that, but my point is, I don't care who you are, if you are leisurely traveling, if there's not an emergency and you have this virus, you are someone that's very ignorant.
Well, let me say this to a 29-year-old who's about to get married for the first time. That's almost an emergency to her. So
she should have put that off.
Well, she did not know it, and there have been the people that lived in the house with him. They have not turned up positive for this. So what was the chances of her dealing with it, who hadn't lived with it? The chances of her was should have been very slim to none that she would have it, but she just ended up doing it. And nobody on the airplane and nobody that she's been around have turned up positive. So I think we condemned her and looking at her in a negative way, and you're drinking the Kool-Aid, the media Kool-Aid, by condemning this young woman. And I think she should be praised just like Miss Pham was praised. I thank you. All right. Let's go to line 972-647-1893. Who do we have next? Line 3. Let's go to Eddie on line 3.
Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Eddie. How are you?
I'm just great, and thanks for being in place as you are, continually doing a wonderful work.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
The voting, if we recall back when GW was in office and so-called Malvo and Muhammad was shooting people, I think was an entire fabrication.
Right.
That voting season, nobody heard anything about anything other than Ducky Head, because there's some people out there who are so stealth they must be paramilitary or cops or something. And it's just misdirection, as you say, to keep the vote down.
It is. Man, look, you don't hardly hear anything about voting. And they know how to send people to different directions. They're not even hardly talking about what's happening up there in Ferguson, Missouri. So you're about to have an uprising in Ferguson, another one, with all these leaks on that shooting. It's obvious they're going to let this guy go, and it's a bunch of mess. But they take your mind off of that, and they got your mind on Ebola. We've had, 4 or 5 people now, maybe possibly in America, to have Ebola out of, 300 million. And we're screaming about Ebola, and the people are dying every day of flu. They know how.
And then, too, Reverend,
we're the most propagandized people on the face of the earth.
Forgive me for stepping on your words, but there are reports in newspapers, on radio, everywhere about these scientists going to West Africa and using the blood of these people to make serum. And they say it out loud. These are just guinea pigs. As Mr. Duncan, I suggest he was just a guinea pig, and who knows if parts of him are now in a test tube.
Well, you called the scientist's name here about 2 or 3 weeks ago. What's that scientist that said this thing came from a laboratory here in America?
His surname is Horowitz.
Yeah, Horowitz.
And you can pick it up if you Google this. The talk is called Emerging Viruses. And everybody on the planet should look at it, because the man gives evidence line upon line.
Have you heard anybody disagree with him?
No.
Nobody. No scientists, nobody have said anything. And this man is big time. And nobody's disagreeing with him. They sent that virus over there just to test it out on people. Yes. America has been known to do things like that.
They say that perhaps cancer came from Africa by way of a walrus, and the walrus contracted from the people on that continent. There are all kinds of insidious things out here. Even yesterday they had in the news about King Tut. Now, we all know the African origin of that world, right. Egypt. They said he had a female-type body and club foot, made him look like a buffoon. And at the same time, they still gave him a European look. So it's insidious. We should be outraged. Yeah.
Well, they look how they did the Sphinx. They tore the nose. You ever go to Egypt and see it? The nose is torn off because it was big and round. You could tell it was an African nose. The lips are torn off with large lips. All of these things, yes. There's a stolen legacy out there. It's there. It's there, and it's still going on. All right. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, sir.
972-647-1893 is the number to call. 972-647-1893. Let's go to Sandra on line 2. All righty. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning. How are you?
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. I just want to comment on some of the callers that's been calling in. The first guy that called in and was talking about gays and lesbians, and he was talking about President Obama, a man voting for those people. I think President Obama is the president for all the people, and let not us judge. Let God be the judge of those people. And I praise President Obama. He's trying to do the best he can do, but his hands are tied too. He can't do everything. And like you said, there's big corporate people that's running America, and that's the bottom line. And also with the nurse Vincent, I think they did treat her bad. They treated her.
They treated her like she was a criminal.
They did, and these black people in Dallas, they need to wake up. And the problem is, we hate each other. Yeah. We hate each other, and the white people got us like that. And I'm like, come on, sisters and brothers, let's start. We need to get together because white people, they don't like each other, but
when it comes to us, they'll get together.
Yeah, they will get together, but we will not. We will go out there and buy a new car, a new house, and new this, and say, I'm doing better than the other black person. But that's not what it's about. And far as voting, this man got his Latino or Mexican mother-in-law on TV saying that he is such a good son-in-law, and he's this and that. He will not get my vote. And if these black people in Dallas County vote for that man, I might pack up and move back to New York because this is ridiculous.
Well, I'm telling you, there's George Wallace. There have been Bill Bode, H. Ross Burnett, and Lester Maddox. That you've had your notorious governors across the South. And this guy, believe it or not, is worse than the sitting governor you have right now.
Absolutely,
and you get
I believe it.
Farther to the right than him. This guy is terrible.
Yeah.
And these people, now my problem is I don't think the most African Americans vote for him, but will we even go to the polls and vote for anybody?
Yeah. Well, I know I've worked for the state, and everybody that walk in that building, I try to register them. Every young man, even with their pants hanging down, I give them a card, and I put them in the system, and I register them to vote.
Yeah.
Everyone that walks in that building. Because we got to vote. We got to vote. I make sure my kids vote. We got to vote.
All right. That's good.
So all righty. Take care.
All right. Thank you. 972-647-1893. That release the line. 972-647-1893. Let's go to the line 4 and say good morning to Ray. All ready? Oh, we got a break. We're up against a break. Tell you what, we're up against a short break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and Joe is producing. And you can reach us at 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 4 and say good morning to Ray. All righty, good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Reverend. How you doing?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
Yes, I was calling in about the way they victimized the Miss Dixon.
Miss Vincent. Yes.
I noticed going to Emory that there was nobody there at the airport for her or at the hospital.
You noticed that too, didn't you?
And then Miss Farm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, then Miss Farm, it was a whole slew of people out there wishing her off.
Right.
So I could tell then that it was racist.
Yeah. And then Miss Fam, whatever the correct pronunciation is, went to the White House.
Exactly.
Is the president going to welcome Miss Vincent in? She's been cleared Ebola free. Will he invite her to the White House?
I doubt it.
I mean, racism just has to stick its ugly head up in anything. Yeah.
Her dog is getting more publicity.
Yeah, they care more about that dog than they do Miss Vincent.
Exactly. And my other issue was on the Ebola virus. It is a man-made virus, just like the AIDS. They did that to kill off the population instead of having wars to kill the people off.
Well, they know They know one
was
thing.
in West Africa.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So, they sent the blacks that wanted to go back to Africa, back to Liberia, and that's exactly where they sent the Ebola virus to say that you all didn't escape us like you thought you did.
mm-hmm. Well, what is unique about West Africa? If we understand and study the Bible, study history, this is where the real Israelites, those who are direct descendants of Abraham by birth, by sperm, this is where we settle in West Africa. This is where the slaves were brought from, West Africa. Yeah. And we have to understand there are a lot of things that we believe, even so-called Christians who go to church every Sunday, they don't have the knowledge to understand that the people that call themselves Jews today are only Jews by conversion. They're religion. But the actual children of Israel, the Jewish people, look like us. They came from Ur of the Chaldeans. Abraham was a black man. All of these people there, well, they're the right descendants of Nimrod that settled that area, the great-grandson of Ham. And it's all there documented, but our people read the Bible, but a lot of times we don't understand what we're reading. The European stock Jews, they went up into southern Europe. They went there into Armenia and different places like that. They were basically came in 780 BC as proselytes. Most of them came from Greece, and they were not Jews by birth, but they were Jews by conversion. We're the Jews by birth. And when our brethren, when my preacher brethren, when y'all go back and restudy the Bible, look at it. I'm not telling you anything that's not right there in that Bible.
You're preaching this morning.
Huh?
You're preaching this morning.
Well, I preach all the time, but somehow it misses most people because we have been so conditioned to believe a lie rather than the truth. And the truth is right before us, right before our eyes. And we don't even see there's no difference between Jew and Greek. Hey, what do you think that Bible is telling you? These people are converted, and he's letting them know. The people are conversions. They are just as much Jews. Those Greeks that's converted are just as much Jews as those that were born of Abraham. But we don't even realize we're the ones who were born of Abraham.
Exactly.
Thank you.
We don't even study to show us, supposed
no,
to
we don't. No,
approved.
we read, but we don't study. All right. Thank you. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line one and say good morning to Reverend Moss. All righty?
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. I always enjoy your show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you asked a question a while ago. Yes, America is run by the government. They determine how many people's going to die and how many going to live. Mm-hmm. They do things to get rid of a lot of people, and especially us.
Well, you have to understand, whoever controls Africa controls the world. Why do you think China, Russia, the powerhouses in the nation is all over in Africa trying to vie for all those natural minerals? They want to rape the continent of its resources.
That's right.
And who should be in Africa is us over there working with our sisters and brothers to develop this nation. And we could be such a great people on the face of the earth, but they fear that.
Yeah, they fear it.
And they fear that us coming together and standing up and being real men and real women. And this is a fearful thing, so they scare us by putting diseases over there. They kill the people off by putting diseases over there. And they even have us brainwashed.
That's
and
right.
turning on our own people, talking about our own people, don't realize that we're condemning ourselves. We can't condemn them without condemning ourselves.
That's right. And then, too, you said something a while ago that people have been conditioned. They don't want to believe a lot of stuff. But, we can't preach a lot of things because people ain't going to believe it no way. But I always wanted to know more about Jesus from his birth not just to when he was 12. I want to know what happened to him.
Well,
One, two,
the
three,
Bible
four,
tells
five.
you a whole lot about his birth.
I want to know a whole lot about him.
Are you familiar with Rahab the harlot?
Amen.
Rahab was a direct descendant of Ham.
That's right.
All right? From Rahab, from the time of Rahab the harlot, who hid the Hebrews there in that area and hid them, and they got those that were sent in to spy the land. She hid those spies. From the time of Rahab to the birth of Jesus, there's not one, not one descendant of Japheth in the bloodline. Japheth is the father of the white race. There's not one descendant. All of them, for the most part, they're descendants of Ham, and they're descendants of Shem. It's right there in your Bible. But we don't. We all they got to do is go look at it. If you think I'm lying, y'all can look it up now and call me and tell me I'm lying.
Hey, I'm going to let you go. Listen, and here's another thing. You take people, and this racial thing going to always be. It's going to always be a racial factor as long as this world stands. Yeah. Now, here's another thing. People is not going to talk about gays, homosexuals. They're not going to talk about that if they're connected with that. They're not going to even mention it.
Well, here's what you got happening there.
Yeah.
We got people that have been taught. Yeah. All of this is wrong. And the Bible condemns it.
You is wrong.
But at the same time, to sit up and say things like that and try to discriminate, that's the part I can't get ready for. I'm not going to discriminate against people because they have some problems, they don't consider them problems because of their choice. I'm not going to discriminate, and I'm not going to talk about them. I'm not going to put them down. No, I do not agree. No, I would not practice that. But at the same time, let's not discriminate against people, because if anybody in the world ought to be anti-discrimination, we as black people ought to be.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Okay?
Enjoying your show.
All right, thank you. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Who is that? Bring me Mr. Morgan on line 3. All righty. Good morning, Mr. Morgan. Is Mr. Morgan there? I guess he's gone. Bring me Reggie on line 2. All righty. Good morning, Reggie.
Good morning, Dr. Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
Well, I was fine. I was kind of called in, trying to see if had the special guest that was coming in.
I had a special guest?
Yes, sir. I was on the impression that Susan Hawk was going to be speaking.
Well, she was. She'll probably be in next Saturday.
Next Saturday?
More than likely. We've been I was trying to get Craig on also. And they hadn't gotten back with me.
Okay. Well,
who are you going to vote for?
Well,
Susan Hawk or Craig?
I'm gonna have to go for Susan Hawk this particular time, because I've been so disillusioned and so dismayed by Craig Watkins and the type of politics he likes to employ. And I would just hope that people in our community become more aware of what we're dealing with and stop playing the old race card across the line about Republican and a Democrat. We have to be a little bit smarter this go around, and we have to start thinking about ourselves as far as what's in the best interest for our community, as opposed to looking at, as they say, green runs everything. So,
well, now, what about Mr. Watkins and the Innocence Project? How many? He's given credit for freeing 36 people?
Well, yes, he's gotten credit for it, but he kind of stole that credit, because that's Barry Scheck, Peter Neufeld, and Alan Dershowitz. The Innocence Project is separate from anything that he's done.
Well, did he have to sign off and allow it to happen in Dallas County?
he signed off because the DNA evidence is what he had to sign off on. Kind of hard to refute evidence because a practice that has gone on even before Craig got here was if a person pointed the finger in your direction, you were guilty. If they actually wanted to really be proactive, they could go back and start checking a lot of these cases of all types because Dallas County has probably the number one most convicted people because they like to force people to take plea bargains. People unaware of what their rights are.
That's done nationwide to poor people. That's done to poor people all over America. If you don't have any money, hey, you plea bargain, because if you go to trial, you know you're going to get 20 to 50. Plea bargain, we'll let you go in 5. And if you don't have any money, knowing you're going to be convicted because you don't have the proper representation, this is what happened. And this is what we need a district attorney to do, is to stop that. These court-appointed lawyers, more money needs to be given, but your state legislature is not going to give that money because they want these people put away. Our problem is we won't go to the polls and vote these rascals out. That's where the problem is. Us not voting. See, we don't understand. Voting affects you on every level of your life. We got people that put it down and talk about it. But let me tell you something. Why do they work so hard to keep you from voting if voting is not important? Think about it, people. Think about it. They work hard to keep you from voting. So, tomorrow is Souls to the Polls, isn't it? Isn't that, tomorrow. You leave church and go to the polls. Everybody, pastors, please, brothers, get your people. Send them to the polls. Make sure. Take them. You drive the lead car. Going to the polls and vote. All right. Thank you, sir.
Amen.
972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to Charlie. Is that Charlie on line 4?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead, Charlie. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. People are ignorant to the understanding of the Bible. They don't understand. They don't even know who they are. We are the real Israelites. We are the descendants of Ham.
You are correct, Charlie.
Most of these people, they are dumb to that fact. These people that worship, these Christians, they say they're Christians, but they don't understand what they're looking at the surface of the word. They really don't understand. It takes a lot of study and a lot of research in order to find out that information, and they are either too lazy or don't have the knowledge to do it or have not been told.
Well, Charlie, let's understand. If you've gained thousands and thousands of members and made millions of dollars preaching a diversionary and gospel that presents a fake, are you going to change?
Well, I wouldn't even do that. That's because,
I think most of them started out ignorant of this. They had not gone and studied. And many of the brethren still have not studied this. And it's a situation where a lack of study, lack of knowledge. See, a lack of knowledge causes people to perish. And we're perishing. We're perishing. The police is killing us. It's sending viruses and everything it is, destroying our family. We're perishing because of a lack of knowledge of who we are.
Well, there's not a lot of time left anyway. It's right around the corner. The end thereof is coming.
Yeah, but he said occupy until he comes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And as far as voting, most of us we don't get out and vote like we're supposed to, and that is the problem, and it does affect us. You are right. I would never vote Republican, but most of the Democrats are much better. But at least I got a chance with them. I know I don't have a chance.
Well, I think you got a choice in this governor's race. Now, you may not agree with her and disagree with her on the abortion issues and different things. I know a lot of blacks do. But, boy, when you talking about you having your own George Wallace in Texas, you got him. This is what we're going to have here in this state of Texas. Black folks and white folks, all powerful or whatever, you better get them to go to the polls.
Yeah, well, I'm not really from here. I've been here a couple of years, and if I don't like the system when I get there, but it's not much different wherever you go. So, you just got to make the best of what you got.
All righty. I'm up against a short break. Thank you for your call. And we'll be back in just 1 second. You can call us at 972-647-1893. Be right back. We're into hour number 2 of Church Information in an Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. And you can call us 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Go to the polls. Souls to the polls tomorrow. Preachers, please, lead out. You be the lead driver. Even if you voted already, take your membership. Get your parishioners to the polls. Everybody, if you don't go to church, you need to go to the polls. This is a very important election. If these state houses and these states that might turn the Senate over to the Republicans, if President Obama gets a Republican Senate, Lord have mercy, I guarantee you, they're going to bring impeachment on him. They're going to impeach him if he gets a Republican Senate. We need, I know it's a lot to ask, but we need to really take the House back. The House of Representatives needs to be taken back. We got local elections. We got a district attorney election. We've got a governor's election. We've got elections that are very germane to how our lifestyle will be. So let's go to the polls. I cannot emphasize the importance of this. Can't emphasize it enough. 972-647-1893. All righty, who do we have? Line 1, let's say good morning to, is that Leon? All righty. Good morning, Leon.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm still around as long as I can stay around.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say something a little bit about Ebola, but first I wanted to mention you were talking about Craig Watkins and how he has to sign off on these cases when they reopen them for the Innocent Project. That's absolutely correct. If the district attorney does not sign off, they can't go in and reopen that case. And Dallas has led the nation in having people exonerated because these people come to my church and they talk about their experiences and how they feel after they've been exonerated. And Craig Watkins is the one that's mainly responsible because he allows Barry Sheck and those other attorneys to go in and take that DNA evidence and exonerate these people who've been wrongly convicted. So
what about those who criticize Craig Watkins for more African Americans being sent to prison and convicted under his administration than ever in the history of Dallas County? What about that?
Well, that's why it's going to be great when you get him to come on your show and let him respond in person to what's being said. That's what I'd like to see happen. I heard you say that you're trying to get him to come on the show.
I was going to have Ms. Hawk on this morning, but I said I better go with her next Saturday. I want to hear more. I want to hear more from her. I had another talk show host to call me and said they had not spent money hardly at all in the black community. And I don't see many of her signs in our community. I want her to make sure that she has something to offer to our community, offer hope, because we're the ones who are going to prison in mass numbers. We're the ones who have cases that need to be reopened. We're the ones who get the brunt of the worst sentencing and the worst lawyers and different things like that. I want to hear some commitment. Should I give her an inroad into our community without anything being brought forth? I don't know. She has not run any commercials into our community, so I'll bring her on because I want everybody to hear her. I want they know Craig, but I want to hear them and challenge Craig on his sins. So let's. I want to be fair with this. I want to be fair.
That's fine.
Because I'm not in love with neither one of them. All right, go ahead.
Now I want to make a statement about Ebola. On CBS News, it was either Wednesday morning or Thursday morning. They said the vaccine had been created and was tested on monkeys and was 100% effective years ago. But the drug companies, because they decided they couldn't make any money off the vaccine because it was going to poor African countries, put it on the shelf, and they just allowed thousands of black people to die. Instead of saying, well, this is a humanitarian issue more as much or more so than it is a economic issue. And in addition to that, we don't want this stuff to spread to our country. They just shelve the vaccine.
Well, who did I say run this world? Who run this country? Big business. Let's be honest about it. This is big business. Probably some big pharmaceutical company created this, and probably they are there and knowing what they can do. They could cure tomorrow if they want to, but they first got to make them some money. Now, if you scare America to death, 300 million people plus, and 4 got to have had the virus, 4 or 5 people in this country have had the virus, you scared us to death. And when you have more than that, they get killed in the streets in America in a couple of hours. You see how the media manipulates us? Well, why would the media do it? Because the media is owned by big business. You better thank God for stations like KNON, who do not. I'm not controlled by big business. I'm controlled by you, the donors, who send your pledges in. I'll speak for you. I'll give you an opportunity to speak. And I'm going to tell the truth. This is the difference. We're getting the word out there. Tens of thousands listening to me right now. Getting the word out there. Giving, even if you don't believe me, I'm giving you some food to thought. But let me tell you something. I will never knowingly lie to you. I'll never knowingly lie to you. Can I prove that big business, can I prove that some corporations, some pharmaceutical companies send it over there? No. But I guarantee you, just put 1 and 1 together. I think 1 and 1 is still 2. It's still 2.
When someone like CBS says that they have documentation that they can provide so that they can't be, sued. So it's an accurate statement.
This man made the statement and nobody has sued him. This man, nobody has even refuted him. How America sent that virus over there some 25 to 30 years ago.
There's a book that you can get. It's called Emerging Viruses. It was written in 1997.
Right.
And it talks about exactly what you're talking about. So any of the listeners who, they don't believe, people call things conspiracy theories when they're so evil that they don't want to accept that people are capable of doing it. Well, you just get that book, or you look back in history at what happened to the Native Americans when they were given blankets with smallpox.
Right. Oh, well, we were given syphilis there in Alabama. Same thing.
That's right.
All righty. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Joe. All righty? Good morning, Joe.
Hey, Reverend, how you doing?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Enjoy your show as always. You're red hot this morning. You sound just like one of those fiery Baptist preachers with it all locked up in your bones.
Well, it is because, Joe, some of it is frustration. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. It seems like our people just won't wake up and see what's going on.
Well, I'll tell you.
It's trouble all around us, and we still sitting there frolicking, laughing, and having a good time. And while it look like everything around us is burning up.
Exactly. I was talking to a guy the other day, and I was talking about politics. And he told me, very ignoramus, he says, all I want to be is 6 feet tall, 250 pounds, and get me a big old pot of greens in life.
So what?
So he wants to be 6 feet tall, weigh about 250 pounds, so to play good football, and say, get him a big old pot of greens.
Man, please, whoever he is, that ain't about nothing, because I've been there and done all that, played football, 200, I've won while I was about 270. I'm down to about 228 now, and could play football, could run, do all that. That's just something, that ain't real life. That's not going to keep nobody here. That's not going to better our communities. Come on, man, get up off that.
Ignorance is a myth, but getting on point here, I know my good friend Imani is listening. He's a Republican. I sure would like to hear how that's going to save him or help him. But Imani doesn't surprise me. I won't spend much time because he's been all over the place. And I think he looks for new roads. I sure would like to hear him talk about how he's going to vote. But it wouldn't surprise me. But CDC, Center for Disease Control, if you listen at yesterday's news, the mayor of New York and the mayor of New Jersey, they are no longer going to follow CDC's guidelines. In essence, they said that it's tomfoolery. They don't know what they're doing.
You picked up on that too.
Yes, sir.
Because they really diss CDC. They don't trust them.
Right. And they said, and I don't blame them, because if you notice, they'll say one thing today, and they'll turn around and say another thing late afternoon.
Right.
So who would trust a mess like that? I hope the congressman is listening. Last Saturday, I gave her a little jab, but she did a very good job of dancing away with it. Presbyterian Hospital, she said, well, she couldn't make sound come. She was waiting. She hadn't seen any of the doctors or what they had. There had been so much information out, because there's nothing else that she or me or you else need to see. Even Presbyterian came out and had to say that we made major mistakes.
Yes, he did. He apologized to Congress.
Exactly. We stepped all over ourselves. We tripped, we dipped, we failed. We got back up and shipped some more. With my little EPA knowledge and OSHA knowledge, some of the things that was allegedly done over there, I mean, a third grader would have known better. You don't bag waste and set it in the hallway.
No.
I think of this particular, they got strict guidelines where you, the way you take it, put your protective garments on, take them off, store them, transport the whole 9 yards. Even the staff said they had no preparation, no training.
Well,
and say everyone was doing something different. You don't run a candy store like that.
But Joe, here's what's happening there. Presbyterian just happened to be the hospital closest to this guy's house. Presbyterian wasn't ready for that. He stayed right down the street from Presbyterian.
But this thing is not over yet. The family is very, very upset. There's a battery of lawyers coming. And you touched on something a while ago about the monies or what have you. This thing is going to be a big monetary situation, because they're scaring people unnecessarily. There's a guy last week on TV. He said his company, little small company, has already made $1 million off of an Ebola vitamin C. And so the government He has come up with, he says, an Ebola vitamin C. And they talk like the fruit of it is, you could get the same thing from chewing juicy fruit gum. So the government is having to step in to try to prevent this big scare tactic that's about a lot of money and the like. It's been proven that there have been people in Africa that have lived with these people with the virus in the room while they were dying. They didn't touch them anything, and none of them contracted the virus. They say that it's solid proof that you have to be somewhere in contact or exchange of body fluid. That's the only way you can get it. You can't get it through air.
Well, yeah, and it's sort of suspenseful, because you got people that's been there for years and deal with those people every day. They've never caught it. I wonder, are there people that can't catch this stuff, and there are people who are susceptible to it? I wonder about this.
It's stated that you have to come in contact with body fluids through a body cavity, nose, ears, eyes, mouth, thing of this nature. They're selling a lot of fears. You can sit beside a person on a plane and you can die 2 hours later. This is a way of making a lot of money and scaring a lot of people.
Right.
That's what that's all about.
It's all behind the dollar.
One last thing just come to mind here. You talked about Craig Jenkins and his opponent. His opponent is acting very foolish if she's not getting out in the black community, spending money. Mitt Romney got...
It's Craig Watkins, yeah.
Right, Craig Watkins. Mitt Romney spent 59%. He got 59% of the white vote and lost very miserably to Barack Obama. That's something for them to take note.
Well, they need to look at it and say things and do things that are very positive in our community. And if they have, They need to get on radio, get on TV by time, and
Exactly.
tell about it. Tell about it.
That brown vote and the black vote, you can no longer get elected in America if you don't tap into the black vote and the brown vote.
All righty. Thank you for your call. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Where are we? Line 3 is Black Hawk. All righty. Good morning, Black Hawk.
Good morning, Brother Barnett. How you doing?
Fine. You doing all right this morning?
Who was that guy that used to be with you on Sunday? He drove an 18-wheeler. What was his name?
That did what on Sunday?
He used to be with you when y'all used to be out on Sunday, and he drove an 18-wheeler truck.
Oh, you talking about A.J. Bagby. You talking about A.J. Bagby. He changed his name to Amalakia and...
That's him. That's him. Amalakia. Yeah, that's him.
Man, you going back 25 years ago.
Where's he at now?
I heard he was in Houston. I don't know.
Okay, look at Brother Barnett. Another guy, a young man, got shot by the Dallas police at both Forest Lane on Wednesday.
When was this?
On Wednesday morning.
He got shot out on Forest Lane?
Yes, by Dallas police.
Is that right?
That's right.
Joe, have you heard about this? Young man getting shot out on Forest Lane. He said it was Wednesday by the Dallas police. I'll go right ahead. I don't doubt it. Go right ahead.
I will see you at the Harambe Festival today at Morgan.
That's right. Clarence Glover, I don't know what happened. He was supposed to call me. The Harambe Festival today, he told me that Erykah Badu would be there and all of that. So everybody, go out and go to the King Center, the big Harambe Festival today. Thank you for bringing it up. Yeah.
I see you.
All righty. Thank you. All righty. 972-647-1893. We have line 4. All righty. Let's go with James. All righty. Good morning, James.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Reverend Barnett. Appreciate you always and all the callers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. A couple of things. We had a fundraiser last night. We had a Church of Christ pastor. I really appreciate what he's doing. But we have a group of people called Concerned Citizens of Palestine, Anderson County. And last night we had the chief of police and several others there. But the pews were empty. The chairs were empty, and there was a lot of concern about the mayor has called a bunch of the preachers. You know, there are certain preachers in town that they stereotype and say, if you want to get the black people divided or call against each other, call these preachers. And they did that, and now they separated us last night, and they got a town hall meeting coming up real soon that's going to even probably divide us even more so. But this is what's going on here. But we're going after it. And also in the election that's going on now, there's a white guy with the name Lumpkin, and most of the people in Palestine know the Lumpkins to be a black family. And what I told people the other night at this fundraiser, in order to not vote for this white guy named Lumpkin, thinking he's a black guy, because a lot of folks don't pay attention, I told them just vote straight Democratic ticket to avoid voting for somebody that's going to knock this young man, Rashard Mims, out of office. And Senator Royce West came down here and did a fundraiser to help this young man, so we appreciate what he's done to come down here and help. But a lot of our people down here are pretty stupid and ignorant to the election, like you be saying a lot of times on this program.
We're the same everywhere you go. James, I sure hate to cut you off, but they signaled me I got to take a break. But thank you for all your hard work down in Palestine. All righty. All right, we'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Remember the Harambe Festival today. Go over and have yourself a good time there at the Martin Luther King Center there in South Dallas, sunny South Dallas. So go have yourself a good time. I was told that I hadn't seen it, but I was told that Erykah Badu will be there. One of our great talented young people here in Dallas that's made it nationally, worldwide figure in music. So go by the Harambe Festival. Go take the family out. Y'all go have yourself a nice time out there, mingling with people and having yourself just a good time, good, clean fun. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Rochelle on line 4. All righty. Good morning, Rochelle.
Good Good morning. How are you, Reverend Barnett?
Fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. I just want to say, first of all, that the Lord is the creator of all, okay? And if you study your word and ask for discernment, he'll give it to you. I just want to touch bases on the guy that called in this morning about homosexuals. We have to be mindful of our own sins, our own hidden sins, okay? And he let this thing take over his heart. That God is, our God is so gracious and forgiving. He'll wonder why that homosexual ended up in heaven and not him. So we have to be mindful of that. And if these things are taking place, and they're in our heart, we have to ask the Lord daily, repent daily and ask him to help us and clean us of that. So I think that's something that far more deep than just been Barack Obama, having those votes for them. And
I also heard in his voice, seemingly I heard hatred.
Yes, hatred.
You can hate people, and I don't care what you believe about their lifestyle.
That's right.
Why do you hate?
That's right. And his sins for hate, that for hating is worse than actually them being homosexuals. You have to look at that. Like if you read his word and study, the Lord will give him insight and discernment of that, and the Lord will change his heart concerning those people, and he'll want to even spend more of his time praying for them than he would being angry and speaking.
I was watching the news last night, and there was a guy at the airport. This guy had on a pink shirt. Obviously, he was gay. But there's another guy came in and started talking to him and cursing him. They filmed it and grabbed this guy and started kicking him and beating him. The rest of the other men that I guess they were on that flight, had to jump on him and stop him from beating this man. Hatred. No. Hatred. We can't go for that. We can't go for hatred. Yes, you may not like the sin, you may hate the sin, but you don't attack people. That means you hate that person.
You hate that person. And I wanted to speak about, he's talking about what Barack did. But let's look at Ben Carson. Look at Ben Carson. He's an African-American man. He's a brilliant African-American man in the medical field. But look at Ben Carson speaking ill of Barack Obama. And how many votes did he get? When you probably got two. Those votes probably came from him.
I'm not going to be wasting the time on Ben Carson.
So you see what I'm saying?
The Republicans are about to nominate him, so don't waste no time on
it. So look at that and all that. And he's a brilliant man. Look how he's going down African American history. Yeah. And he's a brilliant man, but look at some of the dumb things that he said and done. That's the same thing about going back to the guy speaking homosexuality. Now you're talking bad of you won't vote for one candidate because they believe in abortion, which I don't believe in myself, but I believe you don't know what that human being has gone through or going through, and they have the right to repent and let the Lord take care of that. But you don't want to vote for that person because they believe in abortion, but you want to vote for this other person who does believe in abortion and the right to life. But guess what? One of those candidates, when you need some help, you'll be able to go, hey, you'll probably be able to knock on that person's door. Look, I'm stranded. I just need to borrow $10 for some gas, or can you help me? That person said, yeah. You go to the other candidate, don't knock on their door, they're going to call the police on you. That's the difference between the two. He has to be, mindful of that.
Well, I look at most right to lifers. They love you until you're born.
Well,
and once you're born, they hate
That's
you.
right. I was going to say
they only love you in your womb. But once we're born, they hate us. No, that's right. That's a shame.
He'll say, okay, go ahead and have that baby. That's okay. But if you put him in office, and then you just say you're not sorry or late, but you just happen to have a child, out of wedlock or whatever. You've worked all of your life, and all of a sudden you need some assistance. Oh, no, I can't help you with that child. I'm sorry. You chose to give birth to that baby, so you need to care for it. You just might need a little bit of assistance for a few months or something. That's where he has to see, in the long run on that. So, but, we start our word and ask for the Lord discernment and everything. He'll give it to us concerning all things. And we have to remember, regardless of AIDS and Ebola and all that. I'm going to say one more thing and I'm going to get off. Years ago, my father told me, he said, this is your world, you live in it. You keep on living and you keep on learning. So he always made me read the newspapers, watch the night news and Channel 13 and all that. As a young girl, one time I was watching Channel 13 and they had a Caucasian doctor over there in Africa, and he said that he had found the cure for AIDS. And I'm not going to mention his basketball player's name, but he's still living right today. And they said that someone came down representing him and bought some of those pills, and he's alive right today.
Magic Johnson?
Yes, sir. And I believe that, man. He's not lying. So when you think about that, you think about all this evil that's meant for bad, these people that's creating it, and look at all these, what the Lord is doing. We've got people that are good out there that said, hey, I'm not going to allow this to happen. I'm going to use everything that I learned for good. So that's where we have to be mindful who the Creator is and how it ends. You know, we win if you're on the side of the Lord, regardless of whatever's going on. That's just where we have to, keep ourselves lifted up and look over the hills, which comes your help. Where your help comes from? Your help's not going to come from Abbott and Wendy Davis or Barack or anybody else. It comes from the Lord.
All right.
We just have to be mindful of that.
Well, all right. We thank you for your call.
And thank you for your time.
All right. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Dr. Edwards. All righty. Doc, are you still there?
Hello, Reverend Barnett.
Hey, Doc, how it go?
Doing? I'm in New Jersey streaming you online.
Good, good. Wow. Boy, this modern technology is something. In fact, we stream worldwide. I
got on there and streamed you, and I was able to call in. But look, Reverend Barnett, a couple things I think is very, very important. In this Ebola deal, Ebola virus, and there's something called context issues. Have you ever heard of context issues where you take a group of things, let's say you have 6 or 7 people who's got Ebola, and then just this one group gets the death penalty. Everybody else gets well. Okay, there's something called context issues that outlines that you don't even really have to know about color. They just need to give you a set of facts, and from that set of facts, you can actually pull out and deduce what really is actually happening. So they asked one of the guys at Presbyterian this week was raised a factor, and the guy said he was insulted that they would ask him something like that, as though that doesn't really exist.
Why was he insulted? That was a very, very pertinent question, because race has always been a factor in medicine.
That's what I'm saying, is that nobody's really talking. The patient did what he's supposed to do. I was sick. I had a fever. I had diarrhea, vomiting, so I went to the emergency room that I thought would help me. This medical system failed them. Now, let me say this, Reverend Barnett. I've been real silent these last 18 years. I just trying to be real, diplomatic, but I'm getting ready to pull my hat off. What they did to me and kept from treating my patients and treating people who really need it. I didn't get in this for money. I don't. It's fine. You can make money, but I am going to raise the bar on these guys, these DAs and so forth.
Right.
Who they cannot sit down with me and say, "Hey, look, this is wrong. You can't discriminate against a doctor." But I'm going to raise my bar some, because I've tried to be real nice and act, professional and stuff like that.
Diplomatic about it. You've been very diplomatic about the situation. But there comes a point in time that you got to raise holy hell about this situation, because you have been wronged. They will not give you your day in court, which is privy to every American citizen. And it's a sad situation. And I'm one who, I don't play games with people. You just can't tell me anything just to come on my show to get into our community. I'm just not going to play games with people. You got to be for real. I got to believe that you're for real. And anytime I bring somebody on my show, I think they have something good to offer to our community. If they don't, we got enough bad stuff going on in our community by bringing people in that just want to use us. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play that game.
Yeah. Well, you've been a pillar. That's the only thing that really has kept it going between you and Eddie Bernice Johnson and Robert Ashley and some other guys. I can't name everybody, but there have been some people who feel that it's right if I'm a doctor, I should do the best I can for my patient. I shouldn't be penalized for doing it, because you can't figure out how I work 6-7 days a week and have the type of business. I shouldn't be out of business just because.
Well, let's slow down a second. Dr. Edwards had a wonderful practice. His office stayed full, jam-packed every day. But Dr. Edwards had a contract with the corporation, I think it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, that he would see these people. He would see them, take care of them. He would even go to their houses. You all down in the sticks, man, all out in the country going, taking care of people. These people love you. These people were every ethnicity you had. I guess you all probably had as many white folks, if not more, than you had blacks or browns and everything. Seeing they loved you. But all of a sudden, these people don't want to pay you for your work. And you took them to court, but the day of your court, the judge received a check from this corporation that wouldn't pay you. And the judge canceled the hearing. Is that not right?
That's true.
Well, and until this day, and that's been, what, 17, 18 years ago?
Well, that was in 2006.
That was in 6. The court case was in 6. But
not only that, Reverend Barnett,
yeah, but they go back. Go right ahead.
He reversed a previous judge had ruled in my favor. When he got the $5,000, he overruled the previous judge who had ruled in my favor and canceled the trial. Okay? So a previous judge, you remember in 2006, there was a lot of Republicans didn't go to work for about 2 months after they lost. And they had cases backlogged, and they were calling in judges, retired judges, just to try to clear the docket. Well, when they got to my case, the retired judge said, man, what y'all done to this guy, this needs to go to trial. And the same day that he made that decision, the judge that was actually over the court but couldn't hear all the cases came and reversed it. It wasn't like that he just turned it down. He took the $5,000 and reversed the case.
Lord
that had already.
If that's not a conflict of interest, that's off. And you cannot get your day in court.
Well, I tell you what, they don't give me my day in court. I'll be put to rest. So I am not going to. I'm tired of it. I've gone through If the system says I can't shoot everybody, Reverend Barnett, you know how some people get mad. They'll go get their gun and kill. You can't take the law in your own hand. You expect the law to work for you if you work the process. Right. And I'm saying this is not going to go down. I hope they don't think it ain't going down like they think it's going to go down. And so I appreciate you taking the lead and not being for sale. Yeah. And you stood the test of time. And I think we can get to where we really need to go, but I think we're going to have to raise a little bit more cane.
Right.
And I just think that and I need everybody.
I hate it so much that they see you because, let's be honest, this ruined your practice. The amount, millions of dollars that should have been paid to you, and you lost all that money.
They reduced me to an hourly employee. I can work by the hour, but what made it so bad, Reverend Barnett, when I would see a patient, I could send that patient to a white doctor. They would pay that white doctor for the same service
that they
had me payment on. And so I just asked Craig Watkins to take a look at it. And he didn't do very much at all. I mean, maybe everybody loved Craig, but I don't care. If you're not standing, if I'm a doctor, I should be able to tell you, Reverend Barnett, I don't do this kind of surgery, but here's a guy that could do it or that could help you. I mean, all I ask Watkins to do is just look at what I have and tell me where does he think we can go. Because it's injustice, it's fraud, it's criminal, and I'm gonna call him out. He's my fraternity brother, but I don't care about no fraternity brother. Man, I'm looking for justice, and we got medical school students who are thinking they're gonna come out and be able to set up their practice. But if they're gonna let do what they did to me, I'm not interested. But I do appreciate that. I got a little upset today, but I do appreciate it. And bring Ben Carson on whenever you can get him, and then bring Dr. Bird on, and we can close him up real quick.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Doc. All right. Here goes the line, 972-647-1893. Let's get most likely voter on here. Line 1. Bring him on. Line 1.
Hello.
Hello. Go right ahead.
How are you doing?
Fine.
I called to speak on 4 points, but I points, and then I want to end up on Dr. Edwards. The first point was, it seems to me that occasionally, I've been listening to you for quite a while, it seems to me that occasionally some people call in, and I'm beginning to think that some people are paid to call you and make certain statements. I'm going to just say that. I don't have no...
You really believe that too, huh?
Oh, yeah, I really believe that.
Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder.
Okay. And let's move on to my other point. The other point is dealing with the election. The governor's race is very important. But you got to make sure you look at that lieutenant governor and the attorney general's race. Because
yes,
people that are running there,
the lieutenant governor is the most powerful man in the state,
and the one that potentially is the craziest.
Yeah, and you have to watch that railroad commissioner. That's powerful. Correct. I tell you what, put him on hold, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to you when we get on hold. Off a break. We'll be right back.
Americans cherish the civil rights and civil liberties guaranteed to all of us by the Bill of Rights and the laws enacted to ensure people protection and due process of law. If you believe your civil rights or liberties have been violated, the North Texas Civil Rights Project, a nonprofit volunteer group, would like to help. For more information, 972-333-9200 during office hours between 2 and 4 p.m. every Wednesday. That's 972-333-9200.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host, and you can call us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call if you'd like to join this conversation. 972-647-1893. Let's go back to most likely voter. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, the next thing I want to mention about the district attorney's race. Now, I know Greg Watkins is not perfect. I mean, nobody's perfect, so I understand that. But I think that people need to take a look at his opponent is a flip-flopper. She was a Republican first and got elected, I believe, as a judge, as a Republican. Then she flipped and became a Democrat in 2006, and she supported Greg Watkins. Now she's flipping back, and she's running as a Republican. And it's intentional why money is not being spent, significant money is not being spent in the African-American or Hispanic community, because she's not a candidate that's going to be representative of that community. And she's opportunistic, flip-flopper, and was designated primarily and solely to derail Greg Watkins. So people had to keep that in mind. Next point is, now on the voter ID, I understand you have to have a photo for the voter ID, but it appears kind of strange to me, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but on the mail-in ballot, there's no ID required. You request a mail-in ballot, there's no...
That's right. You don't have to show any ID or anything, just mail the vote in.
That's right. And you know, if I'm wrong, I need somebody to...
No, you're correct. A mail-in ballot. If you don't have a voter ID, vote mail-in.
That's right. So, and that's kind of strange, and I think that's by design, intentionally.
Well, they figure certain people...
That's correct.
Are not going to mail the ballot in, so they will just say, well, I don't have ID, and I'm not going to mail it in. I'm just not going to vote. But if our people that don't have ID, which you may not live in a county that has every county don't have a Department of Public Safety close to them where they can get that. They may not have the transportation. They may not have the money. How much do those IDs cost they get from the Department of Transportation? You know the price of those?
I don't know the price of them.
See, but that ends up being nothing but a poll tax.
Exactly, and no question. And then my last question, then I hang up, and on Dr. Edwards, I know you just did a resuscitation of the facts. I know you've been talking about Dr. Edwards' case that he has talked about over a period of time. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of confusing about what the facts and the procedural history is on his case. You talked about Blue Cross Blue Shield. I presume he had a contract. I don't know whether he sued them or what, what was involved. And I don't quite understand how the district attorney is involved in Dr. Edwards' case. If it's a civil case, how did it get to be reviewed by the district attorney?
But I think what he's looking at is from guidance from the district attorney on what to do. But also, he feels like that check coming there that day, the day of the trial, it seems to be a time that when he overturned that case after he got the check. That seems to be a little shady there. Would you not agree?
But see, I'm confused on the history. Did he sue somebody in civil court? And there was a settlement.
He never had his day in court. The only thing that he had gone to one judge, and judge ruled in his favor. But at the same time, the day that he was to go before, I'm trying to think of the judge's name. He's defeated now. He was beaten this year by a lady that appeared on this program.
Right.
That he changed the other judge's ruling after he got a check of $5,000 from Blue Cross Blue Shield. He changed that ruling.
So this was a civil case in a court in Dallas.
And if that's the case, that could end up being a criminal case. You understand?
Yeah. Well, and that's the part. The $5,000, is that supposed to be some type of settlement proposal?
No, I guess that's a donation to his reelection. You know how they go.
Oh, okay. So Blue Cross and Blue Shield made a campaign contribution, or allegedly
the day that he was to hear Dr. Edwards' trial. He didn't hear it. He just changed the ruling.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, and I really. Because you talked about it over a long period of time, and
right.
I
wanted to do this because a lot of people still did not understand what his plight was all about. We've been talking about this for years.
That's correct.
They didn't understand what his plight was all about, and it was very disturbing to me. He's a good friend of mine, and it's wrong. There are other people that are out there that have. Situations that need to be brought up again, and I would love to see the DAs open some of these cold cases where our young people and our people have been railroaded. Let's go back and reinvestigate open up just a department where you go back and reinvestigate some of the injustices that's been done to us over the years. This is what I want.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's part I want to be clear on that because from an understanding of the civil system, it's not clear as to whether or not.
No, but there is a possibility of a criminal act there.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah, I think I got it.
Okay, then. All right.
Thank you.
That clears the line. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to Leotis on line 3. All righty? Good morning, Leotis.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yes, it has. Yes,
how you doing?
I'm fine. You doing all right?
Yes, I'm great. The reason I'm calling for two reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is this Dwayne Caraway trying to banish the...
We apologize for this moment and break in the program. Internet failure. We will resume our program in just a moment.
Pay for the bags when you buy the groceries. Don't ever...
Yes.
Yeah, please cut your radio down. I can hear feedback. It's already in there. And it's already there, and you're already paying for it. Why would you want to pay extra on top of something you're already paying for? All right, we thank you for your call.
Well, I got one more issue.
Yeah, but you got your radio up, and we get.
Let me turn it off.
All right.
Now, my second issue is about this Obamacare insurance. I applied, and they continue trying to tell me and my wife that we got to pay $720, and then I did an appeal. It went up to $750. and I don't have that kind of money to pay for that type of insurance. And so what can I do? I've got another appeal in for November 11, and I've talked to Senator Eddie Bernice's office, and they still not giving me the rate. I know people that make more money than I make, paying $45 a month for insurance.
Well, what's the name of the act? The correct name is the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah.
That insurance should be a whole lot lower than others. I think you've been given some misinformation because you've gotten people out there now, remember, that still really wants to appeal this because they do not want this legislation to stay intact as it is because they do not want President Obama to have their legacy of bringing something on that was as popular as the Social Security Act or the Civil Rights Act, the great bills. They don't want this. So you make sure you stay close to Congresswoman Johnson's office and let them ask them to call these people and see what they quote to them on how much. I don't see why. Are you retired?
Yes. But I got
I don't see why you'd have to pay $707 a month for insurance on a fixed income.
That's what they quoted me 2 times.
Who did this?
They got, I had some people to come by. It was the Planned Motherhood, Planned group like that. And then
Are you sure they were offering that affordable health care? Affordable health care?
The guy that came by my house, he came to my house because I had complained. They sent somebody by. And that's what he quoted me, and then we did an appeal. And that's where we are now. Okay. And then after they appealed it, it came back, it was $750.
All right.
And then I got an appeal in against that for next month.
All right. Call me back and let me know how this come out. Something don't smell right about this one. All right?
Yeah, I know.
All right. Thank you for your call and comment. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Reverend Wright. Hello?
You know how it is. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead, Doc.
Good morning, Sam. How you doing this morning?
Fine. You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Good show, interesting show as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get with Dr. Evans today, and we're going to go over some of the appeals that were filed, and now we're going to file them in his situation. But I know they're having a Romney Festival day, but they're also having the South Dallas State-based outreach is having a function right behind James Madison. They just started at 12 o'clock, so they invited everybody to come over and share with them as well.
You said it's behind James Madison?
Behind James Madison High School.
Is it on Pennsylvania or where?
Pennsylvania, on the Pennsylvania side. That is correct.
They just go behind the school, they can find it?
They go behind the school, they can find it. It started at 12 and it lasts all day like the Harambe Festival. There's different, all races, creeds, and colors, just outreach to the community to educate the people in the community, to let them know that we need to become family and we need to stop the violence amongst each other. And so, which is going to be a big function as well. Yeah, some great, interesting callers, Pastor, but I keep hearing people trying to, and we need to educate our people. I thank God for you because you do educate us about the Innocent Project, and we get caught up in parties, the Democrat, Republican, and they say, and I'm not defending anybody, but I'm just saying, you never can tell who will put in place to destroy us. We've got Democrats in our office that right now that have done absolutely nothing for us.
Oh, Lord, you can say that 10,000
times. We've got Democrats that done absolutely nothing for us. So what difference does it make if you're Republican or Democrat? I keep telling people we've all been victimized by both parties, so we shouldn't look at that. We need to be able to hold them accountable. They keep trying to say that, well, you know, Craig had absolutely nothing to do with the Innocence Project, and people need to understand that. Only thing Craig's job was to fight the decision based on where we think they are guilty. And he couldn't do that because the evidence proves that they were guilty. And so we got to start holding people accountable, not just because you made a statement that more African Americans have been sent to prison on his watch than any other district attorney.
Well, that's fact. That's nothing, you know. That's just.
Yeah, I heard you caller talk about the trash bags. I think a lot of times I've noticed that I've seen the trash trucks that pick the bags up, them bags fly in the trash truck.
I don't see. maybe I'm just blind. But I'm supposed to have 20 vision. I'm supposed to see extremely well. But I don't see trash bags everywhere.
Well, we use them.
I use them to put my trash in. I sure hate for them to do away with them.
I think a lot of them blow out of those trash trucks. That what Councilman Conway saw is that the city, when they come to pick them up, they blow out of the trash truck. And that's what makes it look like they're all over the street. But we surely can't afford to.
Yeah, but why would you put an extra tax on people who can help?
Well, that's true.
You know.
We can't afford to do that.
No, because people don't realize how much that would cost them, because you just go to the store and you've already paid for their trash bag and your ticket there and go on with it. But once you start being charged for those trash bags, that's going to make a difference. And now you can't carry 5 or 6 items home in your arms. You're not going to do it. So I don't know if they're going to offer paper sacks again. And to me, the trash bag is so much better than paper sacks. And,
you can use them for anything. Like you said, you can use them, throw your trash away, and save on trash bags.
Yeah. In fact, I put some sacks in my trash bags, and throw them away. But anyway, we're running completely out of time. We only got a couple minutes.
I'll get with you later on.
All right, okay. All right, let's go to Ike on line 1. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning, Real Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great. I'm going to make it real brief, but I wanted to hit a job line.
Thank you for your pledge, man. Thank you for your pledge. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just want to say this. I heard Reverend Wright and other people talking about it in Dr. It was talking about, the voting in this attorney race. My thing is, we're going to have to start holding people accountable when we get them in office, and it's hard to do. But one thing I do want to say, we need to start learning how to vote. We're having a hard enough time to get people to vote, and we going to, I know it's a lot of talk about voting straight Democrat ticket, but like you just said, and Reverend Wright just said, that the Democrats ain't doing nothing for us, but they're going to encourage you to vote straight ticket because that's helping them and some of their other people get in, and they're not going to tell you not to vote straight ticket because they want to get in there themselves. I'm going to cut it short right there and let the job line come in. But
okay.
I appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you for your tax deductible pledge, and thank you for being considerate. Do we have him on the line? Job line there. All of our lines are staying jammed. Hopefully we can get him in. Let's take Casey on line 4 while we're trying to get him in. Good morning, Casey. You there?
Yeah, good morning, Pastor Boy. Now, I'm not going to be long. Missed half the show. I was in men's Bible study until now. So, but I wanted to come in.
You missed Bible study.
Huh?
You missed Bible study.
I was in the men's Bible study.
No, we had real Bible study here.
Okay.
All right, okay.
Well, what I was going to tell you is this. Tomorrow is Freedom Sunday. Out around the state of Texas and many other states across the country tomorrow, the clergy and ministers have been coming together and talking about it. But tomorrow is the day where immediately after church, we're encouraging people to go and vote early.
This is souls to the polls.
Yeah, but they call it Freedom Sunday because the nationwide effort, and here in Texas, it's being led. So I just wanted to get that in, and I'll call you after the show.
All righty. 972-647-1893. See, can we, Greg, she can, okay. Well, bring me money on line 3. Just bring him up. See if we can, because we just about.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Good morning. We just about to, come on, come on, your money.
I know you are. Yeah, I know you hadn't heard from me. You hear me?
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's been a couple of weeks since I heard from you.
I'm working on economicblueprint.org. Economicblueprint.org. All this complaining, we can talk about Dwayne. We can talk about everybody. The trash bags, we complain. But let me tell you something. Until we become independent,
that's right.
They're not going to respect us. I'm enjoying school. All people over 60 need to go back to college so we can keep up with the young people. And I want to thank you, and I will get a pledge in for you.
All right,
but I appreciate you so much.
All right, thank you, Money. Thank you. I tell you, I'm sorry, we're completely out of time. Wow. He can't get in. All righty. Thank you for calling. Thank you for listening. And you're welcome to come to my church at 9 at Bruton and Masters. on Sunday morning, 11 o'clock, Heavenly Joy Church. You're invited to come out and be a part of it. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. Coming next, it's Job Line and coming forth. So stay tuned to all the great programming here on KNON. You have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.